Hello, welcome. I'm Mike Kolwick, and this is Dental Insight. I am delighted to have with me today Mr. Fred Joyal, the co-founder of 1-800-Dentist. Fred, it's been a number of years since we had an opportunity to talk about dentistry. I'm so happy to see you. Welcome to Dental Insight.
Thanks, Mike. I'm excited to be here.
Well, Fred, I've been in dentistry a long time. I think you've been around it a good number of years as well. Everybody knows 1-800-Dentist, but not everybody knows Fred Joyal. Many people have seen you in the commercials that you did over the years. For the benefit of our viewers with us today, tell us more about your history.
Yeah, well, and a lot of people don't know 800 Dentists anymore because we haven't been advertising on television for 10 years or so. But I started 1-800-Dentist in 1986, back when advertising was really just starting to be accepted in dentistry. And we bucked a lot of headwinds along the way, including the ADA. Who said we were denigrating the profession, but actually we became the loudest voice promoting dentistry. Over the course of the time I ran 800 Dentists for the next 27 years, we spent $500 million in television advertising. Now, nobody came close to that. And we got more people to go to their own dentist than we got to come to one of ours, because we reminded people to think about dentistry because we were just omnipresent. And it was a really good business for a lot of dentists who were great practitioners, but didn't have any ability to attract patients. Whether they were, very much in urban areas, we thrived. But eventually we were a nationwide company. We started in LA with just 18 dentists. And some of them, we built their entire practice. They could trace their entire patient base indirectly to us, which is pretty gratifying. And I've also had dentists come up to me and say, I was one of the guys that was saying you were ruining the profession. And I just want to tell you, I was wrong. You did more for dentistry than the ADA ever dreamed of doing, or anybody else, in terms of awareness. And I said, thank you. It's nice to not always take a beating for helping people out. And so in the process of that, I learned what it took to take a potential patient that was generated from advertising and turn it into a real patient, based on having worked with several practice management companies, including Fortune Management, which is the largest one in the country, and getting to know some really good dentists, and also to see where people failed with 800 Dentists in converting those patients. Because you can do a lot wrong in a dental practice and still make a decent living. But boy, when you do everything right, the practice thrives. So I ended up writing a book called Everything is Marketing, based on everything I had learned about how to convert patients, but also how to advertise yourself and promote yourself. And this book became, and is still, a bestseller. I mean, people read this. Howard Ferrin will say, Fred Joyals are the two Bibles of the dental industry when it comes to marketing. My second book is Becoming Remarkable, which just takes stuff to the next level and how to create a remarkable patient experience so that people talk about it online, because that's permanent, as opposed to just somebody mentioning your name. And so I've done I've lectured for 20 years on these topics, just really helping practices, whether they're clients of mine or not, to grow their practice and attract patients and keep patients and get patients to accept full comprehensive care. And it's been very gratifying to me, just because we created a terrific business that was helping people, and helping a profession that is underappreciated in my experience. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
for sure.
great nobility in doing dentistry every day when people really don't appreciate what you do to make them healthy. I
Yeah.
mean, your oral health is the cornerstone of your health. There's no mystery to us, you and me, Mike,
Right.
but the rest of the world is like, oh, well, my health insurance doesn't cover it, so my mouth can't be important. And
Yeah.
it's nonsense. So that and now I sold 800 dentists about 10 years ago. And now I am in another marketing business called True Blue Social Smiles, which capitalizes on a new form of practice marketing.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to spend time on True Blue Social Smiles. I think it's a great concept, just a great service to dentistry. So before we get there, let's begin at the beginning relative to the past. How has marketing in dentistry changed over the last 10 years?
So going all the way back to when I started, most the dentists were in the yellow pages. Most dentists don't know what the yellow pages are now that have come out of school. They don't understand what that book would be.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
and You mean yellowpages.com?
Right. Yeah,
Whatever the heck it's named that way for.
yeah,
But really what's happened is marketing has become very complicated. It used to be that you could run a yellow page ad, or you run a newspaper ad, or a magazine ad. Maybe in a smaller town you could do radio or television. You could pick a lane and survive in it. Now it's you got to do social media. You got to be online in every possible way, and you still need good street presence and signage and a physical environment. That's why everything is marketing is still the essential message. I say if you understand the title of the book, you don't have to read it, because understand that everything that you do increases or decreases case acceptance. Everything they taste, touch, hear, and smell from beginning to end will affect case acceptance. So pay attention to every one of those things. And so what's happened, dentistry more and more and more. And when I wrote Everything is Marketing, I tried to get this point across, is that dentistry is retail healthcare.
yeah.
Most of the dentistry that you get is optional. It is, as opposed to, traditional medicine, where most of that stuff, I mean, if you need a new hip, you get a hip replacement. There isn't like six other choices. But with dentistry, there's a lot of options, from pulling the tooth all the way to an implant, for example, to talk about the two extremes of it.
Right.
And pulling the tooth solves the problem. That's dentistry in 3/4 of the world. And guess what? In the U.S. too, we pull something like 25 million teeth a year in this country. And don't replace it with anything necessarily. So when you understand you're in retail healthcare, you have to communicate effectively what you do, to the public, so that they value dentistry more than they value other stuff, because it's
Right.
not fun. It's
Right.
not a fun way to spend your money. It's just important. It's a tremendous investment in your life, your comfort, your health, your eating habits, your appearance, all of that, your self-esteem. It's a phenomenal investment. People just don't get it. We have to educate them
So
on that.
everything is marketing. I completely agree. And as I hear that, that's the customer experience. That's everything from how does the practice look before you walk in the door? Is the glass clean? Is it presenting a great image? It's that entire customer experience, both when they're present and, for that matter, even when they're not present, which leads me to my next question, which is when you think about practice marketing today, not 15 years ago, but today, what's the foundation? Where do you start?
You have to have a modern, fully responsive website. that represents you accurately as your brand. If you're a discount dentist doing, just moving people in and out for as little cost as possible, that has to be super clear on your website. If you're a high-end boutique practice, that has to be really clear, or you're going to be attracting a bunch of people waving their insurance cards around and trying to get minimal treatment. And you're going to be inaccurately marketing. But you need a website that communicates who you are in the way that people use websites now. So there's, and I could list a dozen things that people miss. Some dentists, you can't find their phone number on the homepage. So, and it's in the upper right-hand corner. It's like, it's that basic. That's right. Where people are looking for it. Right. And Google's looking for what city or town or neighborhood you're in. That has to be readable to Google spiders. And I see dentists missing that all the time. They've got the name of their practice, Happy Valley Dentist. We don't know where this Happy Valley is. And neither does Google. But I can sum it up very simply in consumer behavior. People are judging the quality of your dentistry by the quality of your website, even though those two things could be completely unrelated. You could have a crappy website and get 600 hours a year of CE, but they judge all other businesses by the quality of their website, the functionality, the ease of interface, all of those things. Are the buttons in the right place? Are the colors appealing and attractive? All of these things work, and it has to work on every device. That's the word I used. Responsive is important.
So, Fred, the practice website is literally like the front door. It's the signage. It's that initial image without being in the parking lot, right?
It's 24-hour a day signage, worldwide broadcast.
and your point is, Doc, get it well done. Yeah. And we're in a day and age now where that doesn't require taking out a second mortgage to have a great website. Correct?
No, you can underpay and you can overpay. You want to be simple and clear in what you do. You don't want to use a bunch of stock photos. You want photos of your patients. There's a bunch of elements that you want to have, but it's got to be personalized to your practice. And it's got to look like websites look today. If your website's 5 years old, you need a new website.
Understood. Fred, this is a term, two words that a lot of small business owners and dental office owners have some confusion, and that is the word marketing versus advertising. How do you see the difference between the two?
Yeah, a lot of times people use them to mean the same thing, and they're really, and I spell it out in my book as well, they're completely different. Advertising is using a specific medium, whether it's Google ads or Facebook or a magazine or print or direct mail. It's using a medium that you're paying for to tell people who you are, what you do, and why they should want it from you instead of somebody else. Marketing is everything that you do that tells people who you are, what you do, and why they should want it from you instead of somebody else. So that's why it's all of these other things. What's the lighting in the practice? Can I make an appointment on the website? All of these things. Can I do a virtual dental appointment? Is there financing? Do you take my insurance card? Do you explain why you don't? All of those things. Is it warm enough? What's the music? Does it make you feel comfortable in that practice? The other thing is, trust is so important, and human beings build trust by all of these subconscious cues, many of them irrational. You smiling at somebody, you using their name builds trust.
Right.
Works for con artists too. But doing that impacts people. That's marketing. What do your scrubs look like? What does reception look like? You've got a comfortable, attractive reception area. I've heard patients say, wow, I've never seen, didn't know dentistry could be like this. They've had no dentistry. They're reacting to the lobby, the reception area.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's why retail stores do what they do. When
Yeah.
you go in there, everything is calculated in a retail store. And
Fred,
we're in a,
let me ask you, when you think about this, and most dental practice are still solo. They're owned by the gal or the guy. And boy, they got a lot going on in life, right? And trying to raise a family, get the bills paid, a mortgage, get time off for a vacation, all of these things. And if when you go to college, you go to dental school, you don't really learn this, do you?
oh
So
no. And if they taught it, and I've talked to many people about this, if they try to teach it in dental school, the students won't go to that class because they're trying to pass their boards
well, sure.
so they can
So
get a license.
my question is this: the dentist, I think you and I would agree. Look, they're not alone. Ask for help, right? You just are saying, "Hey, Mike, it's A to Z. It's front door, back door. It's the whole enchilada," and that can be just a daunting thing to think about, right? So, would you encourage the dentist to get outside help? Would you encourage the dentist to reach out to his or her team? And hopefully they're going to watch this interview and they're going to say, "Hey, how can we get better? Where should they start?"
I, there are great coaches out there. That's the thing is, you're not an entrepreneur in dentistry. Don't believe that. If somebody tells you, oh, you're an entrepreneur, no, you're not inventing a dental practice. It's already been invented. It's already been perfected. There are 10 ways to run a dental practice really well. And there are 10 ways to run it really badly. And coaches know the difference. There are people who can put in the systems, can train you, can train your team, can help you with your marketing, can help you with your case presentation. There's all the help you need is available. It's all been done and done really well. You
So
don't have to wing
people
it.
like Bernie Stoltz, the people at Fortune, Carrie Strain Dental. There's a number of really great firms out there, established, highly credible. That's a great resource, correct?
Yes, absolutely. And every high performer in the world has a coach or three. You don't see them, you don't see Serena Williams win the Wimbledon and go, I can finally get rid of my coach. No, she sits down the next day with her coach and says, where did I go wrong?
Yeah, for sure.
Billionaires have coaches, but dentists don't think they need them.
Well, speaking of need, every practice needs new patients. In your mind, what's the best source of new patients?
The best source is your patients, word of mouth. The patients who love you telling other people, you have to go to her. She's amazing. My dentist is unbelievable. I was always afraid of the dentist, but once I found him, I changed everything for me. That word of mouth, and that's actually the most valuable measurement of the patient experience is word of mouth your number one source of new patients.
And
If
so,
it's not, you got stuff to fix.
all right, so you want that. You want the word of mouth. What's the best way to amplify the generation of word of mouth?
Yeah, because it used to be you just had to hope people mentioned your name and you said, please recommend us to people if you know anybody that needs a dentist.
Right.
Now you have the ability to digitize that word of mouth. You can have the patient record a video testimonial, just a quick 30-second video where they talk about why they go to you, how long they've go to you, the difference you've made in their life. That takes that word of mouth and makes it so now you have a marketing tool
So
that you
what
can use everywhere.
let me interrupt you. So tell me what type of video are you talking about? Is this an email that they recorded at home? Give me more detail, please.
So what people used to do, and I think in becoming remarkable before there was any this sort of utility, you would basically have to have a videographer come in and interview the patients and shoot them, multi-camera, and it's all scripted and edited.
Right. Right.
What's most believable to consumers is a 30-second one take testimonial done on a phone with all the ums and ahs in it.
Okay.
That's the most believable thing because it's authentic. It's not faked. It's not scripted. It's not edited. And when we
So
see that, we say, wow, this person was willing to do this for this practice. This has got to be a great practice.
so clearly there's a right way and a wrong way to go about that.
Yeah.
And you with True Blue Social Smiles have, boy, made it as easy as pie from what I can see.
We streamline the whole process of getting the video from the patient, ideally in the office, and just say it's going to take a minute, and it really helps us find more great people like you. And they'll either do it or not do it, but you don't need a million of these. If you got one a week, you'd have 50 in the course of a year. But there are patients who love you that will do this, and we just make it simple. The patient scans a QR code with their phone, they record it. Now, boom, it goes into your library. You've got them in a dashboard to use everywhere, to put them on your website, to use in all these other places, and use this incredibly powerful marketing tool. We saw that I think the video testimonial is the most powerful marketing tool ever created.
So Fred, we're looking at the site right now.
Yeah,
Right?
and this is what you would put on your website so that people can see what other people say. You can put tons of copy on your website. People aren't going to read it. They immediately gravitate towards the video. And they even want to see how long it is. Oh, a minute and a half. I could never watch that. That's way too much time. Yeah, that's what we've become, right?
So you want to coach the patient probably while they're in the office,
yeah,
and show them, hey, this is how it works after you've asked for it, right? And that way,
yeah,
okay, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, I can do that. Here, give me the phone, Fred, right?
yeah. And you say,
is that
look,
the
if
best approach?
you're not happy with it, we won't use it. But I think you're going to be great. And they do most of the time. If they want to redo it, the second time is not as good, because the first time they're really speaking from the heart, and that's what makes it so believable.
Well, this is just a fantastic idea, because social testimony is extraordinarily powerful, as we all know. And what you've come up with Social Smiles is an easy way to do it, right?
Yeah.
And you've got to do it, and it's not difficult. And then, okay, so once you get these videos, you work with your clients. True Blue Social Smiles, and they understand where the videos go, or does it happen automatically? And can they get posted in social media? Are there free ways to get these videos out there?
Well, that's the whole thing. Dentists are looking for all these ways to promote their practice, and they're finding all of these ways to pay to promote their practice when they've already got the opportunity to capitalize on these videos and use them in free ways. Your website is free. You already built it. So we make it so that you can add and delete those videos instantly from your website. And you don't have to use me, but you have to have video on your website. You have to have patient video testimonials on your website. It gets you better SEO, but it's what the patients are looking for. I want to hear what other people have to say to you. Why do you think Yelp existed at all? They wanted to hear what strangers had to say. But video is a whole different level of credibility. So you've got your website, you've got your Google business profile that you can put video in. A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people stop at the business profile because there's so much information there. If you've got video testimonials in with the photos, people learn everything they need to know. Now, you could put it on a YouTube channel. YouTube is free to post videos on. And you know who's looking at it? Google. Google saying, oh, this is that practice with these videos. What happens? Your SEO goes up. Email marketing to your patients. Email these videos to your patients and say, do you know someone that would benefit from a treatment like this? Maybe it's an implant video and patients raving about it. Social media. Now you've got your whoever's managing your social media is constantly saying, I need content to put on. This is content, and it's incredibly persuasive content. You get a couple of these a week mixed in with your social media content. Now people are saying, wow, these people really love this practice. They're willing to go and talk about how they love this practice. And look at all of these. You know, you've got all of these places that you can put it. You can show it in a morning huddle, show it to your team and say, this is what people are saying about us. Get people motivated, say they appreciate what we do when we ask them. Here's the other little secret. When they do a video testimonial about your practice, you've elevated their appreciation in their minds higher than it was before. They may have never said what they said out loud before. I've seen videos where people say, this practice has changed my life. It's totally changed my life. And they may not have said that out loud till they reflected on the difference when they were edentulous and then got dentures and then got implants. They talk about that as the transformation that it is. You've got this, use it in case presentation. There's all of these ways that you can use it for free. And then if you want to do social media advertising, you've got great content to edit together.
So this vehicle is kind of like a Swiss Army knife. It's not just one thing, right?
Yes.
There's a whole bunch of different things that coming off of the videos that are created that can be used in a variety of ways, not just on the website, right?
Yeah, and as we said, most of them are free.
Right.
So
which is
yeah,
absolutely fantastic. And your company helps the dental practice understand how to walk down that path, how to maximize the value for using the service. How important is it for the doctor to make sure the whole team is understanding it and is motivated to seek the testimonial videos?
Well, I'm going to say video is the greatest marketing tool ever created, but the greatest marketing tool of a practice is the team. They are all responsible. That should be in the job description, to create a remarkable patient experience and promote the care that we offer, both in and out of the office. So the team, when you bring people in, they've got to see that as part of their role. It's not just to suck spit or chisel plaque. They've got responsibility to create an experience with that patient that is remarkable, that they can't resist talking about, that's memorable, that's powerful, that's caring. And that's as much a part of the job, because otherwise it's a factory. And you know, it's a tooth repair shop. Is that the business you want to be in? Because it doesn't pay that well. And you know, a great practice run really well gets people to accept the treatment that they need. Right. Most people are just not accepting the treatment that they need because they're not persuaded well, that so Fred, they're not appreciating the value yet.
Would you say then that whether you are fresh out of dental school, maybe you've been in and for a number of years and you bought your first practice, all the way to the guy or gal, they're in their 50s, maybe in their 60s, they're getting ready to set the practice up for sale. Really, at any point, you really, if you're not super happy with how the practice is performing, right? Call time out, right? And say, okay, let's just stop here. Let's take a look at this book, Everything is Marketing. Let's take a look at True Blue Social Smiles. In other words, what I'm saying is, you know, it ain't over till it's over. It's okay where you are is where you are, but you can make it better. and it doesn't require a huge expenditure, and it doesn't require 5 or 10 years to get there. You can create dramatic changes in your patient's experience in a relatively short period of time. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And it's a team project. You say, look, over the next year, we're going to change one thing a month, and we're going to collectively decide what it is. We're going to say what's going to be the most impactful thing we can do,
Yeah.
or the fastest thing we can do, or both. And we're going to click them off one by one. We're not going to try to do 6 at a time, but we're going to, okay, we got a horrible website. All right, let's get that in motion. Wait a minute, our reception area, it looks like it's from the 50s. We got to tear that down. Uh, as a side note, just to talk about human nature, which I talk about a lot, is whenever a practice remodels reception, their own patients start spending more money. Tell me human beings aren't weird.
Yeah.
But the data is overwhelming that
Yeah.
that's what happens. The remodel pays for itself in 90 days by your own patients, not even by new patients. It's,
Yeah.
it's
Isn't
incredible.
that's absolutely fascinating. Fred, if I'm a dentist watching you, part of me is going to go, hey, I want to hear more from this guy. And certainly your book is on Audible, and you've got your own website. Do you still do lectures?
Yeah, for large enough groups, between 100 and 1,000 generally,
Okay.
I'll do. And what I've found is there are the smart oral surgeons and orthodontists, people like that, who are trying to get GPs to refer to them. Every year they do an annual event, and they bring in a speaker that brings value to them. Instead
Right.
of sending flowers and candy and take them to lunch, it's like, bring value. And they bring the whole team in, and they bring in me or somebody like me. There's a whole array of these people out there
Yeah.
that can really impact the whole team if you give me a day with them. Now, it could be 3 hours, it could be 6 hours, it could be 90 minutes. But what I do is I create this awareness that you are in retail healthcare, which means you have to sell dentistry, and that human nature is going to be what it is. And you have to design your practice and your behaviors accordingly to create remarkable experiences for those patients.
Fred,
And
would you agree, if I may interrupt, would you agree you'd rather be part of, whether you're an assistant hygienist, office manager, coordinator, the dentist themselves, that you'd much rather be in a practice that understands everything is marketing, that is really students of what it means to serve and to deliver great experiences to patients? Wouldn't you rather be in that practice than one that's not?
it's where you have to go every day for the next 35 years or however long.
Right.
Um, make it fun. When it's fun to be there, people pick up on that vibe
Right.
instantly. If people enjoy where they work, those patients who are apprehensive and trying to make a decision, when you're apprehensive and anxious, your cognitive skills are impaired. So somebody's explaining the dentistry that you need, and your brain's going, I don't understand. And why
Yeah.
did he just say $9,000? And so you want them to relax. You
So
want them
this
to feel comfortable.
this is at the essence of it. Dentistry is a personal experience for the patient, right?
Exactly. It's an incredibly personal experience. They feel very vulnerable going into a dental practice. One of the first things we learned at 800 Dentists as we started to answer the phones in 1986, and then it never changed, this fact. People have as much apprehension about choosing a dentist as they do about going, because they
Right.
don't know how to pick one, and they've picked wrong maybe once or twice. Or they had a great dentist and she retired, and it's like, how do I find her again? They don't. So there aren't many situations where you sit back in a chair and let somebody reach in your mouth with sharp spinning instruments.
Right.
And so, and you don't understand the science, the medicine that's involved in it. You don't, you go to an MD and you're not expecting that to understand open heart surgery,
Yeah.
but you go to a dentist and they says, well, you can do this or this or this. And it's like, wait a minute, there's three choices. Yeah, we can. And if you can't afford this, we'll do that. And it's like, first of all, start with optimal care
Yeah.
and don't decide if they can afford it. Let them tell you they can't afford it. And then say, maybe we should wait until you can afford it, or let's figure out a way for you to afford it.
Fred, when all is said and done, what we're really talking about is communication, and we're talking about influence. And I like to say, it's been said before, that we want to buy from people we like. We want to buy from people we trust. Well, like and trust, those are emotions, right?
Yeah.
We feel that emotion of like, and we feel that emotion of trust, and we feel that emotion of gratitude to know that, wow, I'm in a dental practice where I'm being taken care of very well. You know that I've created another company myself called Right Touch,
Yeah.
which is all about the written word in what I see as a really innovative way. Let's just take a quick look at the Right Touch site, and I'd love your thoughts about why you think this has merit for a dental practice. So let's take a look at Right Touch. Just one sec here.
And I'm in Everything is Marketing. I talked about the power of a handwritten note, and it's more true now than ever before because we don't get good mail. Well, I check my mail once a week and throw out 95% of it. In a political year, I throw 99% out.
Well, Fred,
But
I'm going to just share with you again. You're familiar with this. Our audience today is, and I'll just briefly say, Right Touch. What we've done is we've automated the creation of an emotional connection through cards, like the Hallmark cards, that are sent out a couple different ways. One, first year, Fred, 8 cards, like a Hallmark card in the mail. Everything from, we're so happy that you've joined the practice, to, hey, did you know that you can get the smile of your dreams in our practice, to a reminder that, hey, your heart health is connected to your oral health.
yeah,
All of these things, your birthday, somebody comes in, says, I've had a baby. We've automated getting that card out the door. Nobody's running to Rite Aid or CVS and getting a card and coming back and writing it out and getting it in the mail. It literally takes 60 seconds to get all of this going. And so rather than a bill in the mail or junk mail, this is something from the dentist that touches the heart. But tell me, how do you see the significance of this? How does this balance out, for example, what you're doing with Social Smiles?
well, this is another way of building personalization and building trust with the patient, and it's a way of being memorable. And in my book, I talk about the reason things are memorable is because they are unexpected. When we got what we expected, we don't remember anything. If it's unexpectedly bad, we remember. If it's unexpectedly good, we
Right.
remember it and we talk about it. And that's exactly what you've created, an emotional connection. So remember, people make many buying decisions emotionally and then just look for a rational excuse to buy those things. So you're connecting on that emotional level, on an empathetic and intimate level with that patient, because dentistry is a long-term relationship. That's when people find a dentist they love, they are not changing. And that's what we found with 800 dentists is like once we introduced them to somebody that actually cared about them and listened to them and explained stuff to them and communicated effectively with them and created that caring experience that said you're an individual, because that's what you're doing is you're saying you're an individual person to us, your life is important to us as
Fred, would
well
you
as your
would you
health.
agree that dentistry quite often changes people's lives for the better?
I think dentists change people's lives so often they're used to doing it. It's like you and I don't that we don't rack up a whole bunch of those in our
Right.
lifetime. They
Right.
do, you know, a couple a week. But you know, if somebody needs transformational dentistry, there's no better way to spend the money. It's not a Vegas vacation, chrome wheels on their car, whatever. That's a nothing compared to the lifelong impact
Right.
of comprehensive care. It affects every smile, every meal, every kiss, every conversation for the rest of their life.
I think,
How
Fred,
could there be a better investment?
that is so well said. And this is the point I know that you and I so believe in, which is dentists and their team should be extremely proud of being in the dental profession, because it's not easy. Just as much as people are vulnerable and aren't necessarily always excited to be there, it's a demanding living. It's an honorable profession, and it has such a great positive impact on people in certain situations. And that demand, that day in and day out demand, deserves recognition as well. So you and I both know we appreciate dentists so much, and their teams, and what they've done. This leads me to just one other point as we end our time together. Um, I've been in a lot of dental offices. I've been in over 1,000 dental offices in my 45 years. And I want to make a point, and then I'd love you to get your observations on it. I've been in offices that were older, not necessarily state of the art, and I've been in offices that were like walking onto the deck of the Starship Enterprise. Now, what was the difference between the ones that were successful and the ones that weren't as successful as the practice owner would like? In my mind, it comes down to connection. It comes down to how the patients feel when they're in that office, right? And I think that ultimately ties back to, yeah, you use the term everything is marketing, but another way of saying that is everything is how you make the patient feel. Can you give me your thoughts on that?
Going back to that thought that we make trust and value decisions emotionally with a lot of these subconscious cues. And if you're not taking advantage of those and providing those as part of the experience, you're going to have less case acceptance. And less case acceptance means less patients out there talking about you because they didn't get comprehensive care. I try to tell dentists this all the time. Big cases brag because they've had a tremendous change in their life because of you. Somebody who's gotten prophies for 15 years says, I love my hygienist.
Right.
And if she quits, I'm going to go wherever she is, you know? So it is very much happening on an emotional level for all of us in many situations. And, you know, if they feel like you care more about them and their health than they do, then they're going to listen. And that's, you know, everything that we enjoy in life is with this body. Every wonderful experience that we have, every great memory, all the joys we experience, and the healthier we are, the more this body can enjoy that. And this is what dentists do all the time, is help people to be healthier.
Well,
Like we were
Fred,
talking about, what a noble thing to do every day.
yeah, to use that, to pick up on that word help, uh, this has been extremely helpful. I know every person who spends this time that you and I just spent together, hopefully they're gonna take notes. They really should take notes. And there's a lot of stuff there. There are going to be people who want to know more. Now, certainly, how do they find the site? And if they have a specific question that they might have for you, maybe want you to speak, how do they take action from here?
Well, there's always fredjoyal.com, you know, Joyal. That's my website. You can find out all sorts of stuff you want. You can even order my books. The books are also available on Amazon in the Kindle version and the Audible version, as well as the hardcover. And it's me reading the book. So if you want to listen to me all day long, that's one way to do it. And yeah, and then you can just contact me through the website. And you know, if you're looking for somebody to speak to a group of your referring dentists, or you've got an organization, a study club you want me to speak at, that's the easiest way to reach me.
So just Google True Blue Social Smiles and
No,
Fred Joyal,
FredJoyal.com.
and for that, and then also for Social
And True
Smiles.
Blue Social Smiles for the video business. Yeah, for the
Got it.
video service.
Well, fantastic. Fred, thank you so much.
My pleasure, Mike.
It's been a pleasure. I see over your, what is, I guess, your right shoulder, a book called Super Bold. I have read the book. It's a fantastic book. Promise me that we will do another hour together and we're going to talk about the concept shared in that book. Will you do that with me?
Absolutely, because boldness is a superpower and it's something that you can learn. So we're going to talk about it.
All right. Well, Fred, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Dental Insight. Until next time, be well. Thank you.